not as enemies to destroy, but as lost sheep whom he seeks to rescue and restore to his flock. We didn't know this way of valuing and loving people was meant even for those we had despised for centuries, half-breeds with foreign traditions we found offensive, until Jesus chose to travel through Samaria.
Who is this woman the old spies?
She's a Samaritan. Isn't that enough?
Come on, we have to buy food, and we don't want to keep the teacher waiting.
Will you give me a drink?
You are a Jew. I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?
If you only knew what God gives and who it is that is asking you for a drink, you would ask him, and he would give you life-giving water.
Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep. Where would you get that water? It was our ancestor Jacob who gave us this well. He and his children and his flocks all drank from it. You don't claim to be greater than Jacob, do you?
Everyone who drinks this water will get thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never be thirsty again. The water I give them will become in them a spring, welling up with eternal life.
Sir, give me that water. Then I will never be thirsty again, nor will I have to come here to draw water.
Go and call your husband and come back.
I don't have a husband.
You are right when you say you don't have a husband. You have been married to 5 men, and the man you live with now is not really your husband. You have told me the truth.
I see you are a prophet, sir. My Samaritan ancestors worshipped God on this mountain. But you Jews say Jerusalem is the place where we should worship God.
Believe me, woman, the time will come when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans do not really know whom you worship. But the time is coming, and is already here, when by the power of God's Spirit people will worship the Father as he really is, offering him the pure worship that he wants. God is Spirit, and only by the power of his Spirit can people worship him as he truly is.
It's that woman.
What is he doing talking to her? Does he know who she is?
I know the Messiah will come. And when he does, he will tell us everything.
I am he. I am he.
And see the man who told me everything I've ever done. Could he be the Messiah?
Messiah? The promised prophet? No, it can't be.
Come and see. Come.
Teacher, have something to eat.
I have food to eat that you know nothing about.
Did someone bring him food?
My food is to obey the will of the one who sent me, and to finish the work he gave me to do. The crops are now ripe and ready to be harvested.
Look how many are coming. It's the good news for Samaritans too.
The people of the town came to Jesus and begged him to stay and teach them. We stayed 2 days, and many Samaritans believed in him.
Okay, this Bible story is a common Bible story, and there are so many themes that we could pick out from the story. We could go with Jesus chooses sinners to follow him. We could go with go tell the world about your experience with Jesus and spread the good news. We could go with multiple of things, but the reason we're going to go with living water is because Celie said, I have a great idea for a lesson. How about we have refreshing bottles of water and we pass them out and tell people that Jesus is the living water. And then she turned to me and said, right, Jesus is the living water? And so I want to touch on Jesus is the living water. So I want to know, what quenches your thirst? Jesus, right on. Water, Jesus. Okay, so there's a graphic up here, and Evan said, ooh, I have a really good illustration of that. Have you ever been in the shower and you decided that your mouth got dry and you needed a drink of water, but you knew if you opened up your mouth and took in the hot shower water, it would not refresh you? But if you would just wait to have a drink of crisp, clear, clean water, it would refresh you. There is a difference between the water that we drink. There is a difference between what we take in and how it nourishes us and how it refreshes us. So we're going to switch slides, Kennedy. Now, he had to go through Samaria. So he came to a town in Samaria called Sychar, near a plot of ground where Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well, and it was about the noon hour. So one of the things we wanted to point out is that Jesus made a detour. He didn't have to go this direction, but he chose to go to Samaria, a place where most people would avoid because Samaritans were not the same as Jews, and they didn't associate with Jews, and they had different traditions and different ways of doing things, and probably the disciples were really put off. There's a little piece of scripture there that tells us that they were like, why are you going there? Well, he had an appointment, and his appointment was at a certain time. I also wanted to point out that Jesus was tired. He was God, but he was man. And if you were traveling through the desert on a journey, you would become tired and thirsty. And Jesus as well was tired and thirsty. The other thing that we want to point out is that it was about the noon hour. What is the hottest part of the day? Around noon. In children's ministry, we have always been taught that the women gathered water at the well in the morning, but historically speaking, the women would go to the well in the cool of the evening, and they would gather up water. Why did they need to get water? They needed water. First of all, they were living in a desert. There were no lakes, there were no streams around, and here was this well that Jacob had dug far before their time. And the well represented life, because without water, we cannot live. So they needed water to wash their clothes. They needed water to clean themselves. They needed water to prepare their food, and they needed water to drink. Jesus arrives at an appointed time at noon at the well when no one should be out there. What happens? He encounters a Samaritan woman. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" His disciples weren't around because they had went to get food. So here's this woman. What was she doing at the well at the noon hour? Well, in every single children's Bible story we hear that she was ashamed to go out when the other women were there, because this was a place where the women gathered and they talked. And this woman had some things that she didn't like people talking about her. She wasn't the best character. She didn't fit the societal norm. We don't really know exactly all of her motives for being there at the noon hour, but we know that she was not expecting anyone else to be there because it wasn't common. 60% of the human body is water. We lose water through normal activities like body functions. We lose water from working and perspiring. And what happens to us if we lose too much water? You get dehydrated. What happens if you don't have water intake for up to 12 days? You die. You die. A week for most people if you have a really good water content in your body, but you can stretch out for 12 days and you're not going to be much of an existence. So here she is, and she is at this well, and she is getting water for survival. She's not there to be social. She's not there to meet with the other women. She's there to get what she needs to sustain herself. Now, this is the part where I need Brock to come up here. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asked you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water." Jesus points out to her that you don't really know who God is. And if you did, you would recognize who I am. And you would ask me to give you a gift of living water. You see, this woman was an empty vessel. And Jesus knows that, Kennedy, can you change the slide? Jesus knows that her need is not a physical need. She doesn't need to drink this water right now. She's not in fear of dying because she hasn't been hydrated. But spiritually, she's empty. And Brock, I have an empty vessel up here. Can you stand up? Nope. The empty jar. And I want you to hold it up and show it to everyone. Now, show it to everyone. Up high. Up high. Kennedy, change the slide. Now, when we feel empty spiritually inside, we sometimes might try to fill ourselves up with things. Brock, I need you to remain standing. Sometimes we like to fill ourselves up with food. And my grandkids' favorite way to fill themselves up is Starbucks. And many trips to Starbucks. Brock, can you go ahead and try to fill yourself up with Starbucks? Oh, can you hold that up for everyone and show them it left you a little empty? And the other thing we might try to fill ourselves up with is sports and activities. So, Brock, there's a little ball there. Can you go ahead and put that inside of the empty vessel? Okay. We still got a few voids there. You might try to fill yourself up by adding friends and other children to your life. Oh, and a pet. And maybe that pet didn't work, so you might want to add a smaller dog. Brock, do you still feel empty after adding all that into your life? Do you still feel empty? Hold that up. Does it still look empty? All right, so you might go out and buy yourself some new jewelry, because of course if you look lovely on the outside, you must feel lovely on the inside. But even though you have all of these material things, there still seems to be some empty spaces inside of you. You got all that jewelry added in there? Oh. You know what would fill my soul if I had a brand new car? Or a truck? Or a transformer? Oh, trying to get every spot filled. Good. Keep working at that. I still see some empty spaces even though I have all these things in my life. All right, stop for a minute. Then, popularity. There's a cell phone over there, social media. How many people like you? How many likes do you have? Will that fill you up? Will that, okay. I don't know if I would do that, Brock, because something's going to happen later and you're not going to like it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I need you to hold that up and turn it so everyone could see, even though we have lots of things going on and we have lots of self-gratification going on, that we still have empty places in our life. So we might try to get money to fill those places. We might go on some vacations, and Brock's going to fill it up with coins because the dollar bills didn't make it enough. We might buy some new houses. And since we don't have any little kids in the audience today and we have teenagers here, I'm going to address this. We might have other things that we try to start filling our life with. Brock, can you leave the jar down? We might try to make ourselves feel satisfied by trying alcohol or trying drugs or going from relationship to relationship. But yet it still leaves little voids in our life. So I want you guys to answer, what do you fill your life with? Work? Yeah, a lot of work. I even coming into church this morning, I filled my life with a lot of work because of running around trying to get coffee. The coffee pot didn't work. I had to go get the other coffee pot. Found the kitchen was dirty. Had to go make coffee up in the Lewis room, fill the coffee pot. Go downstairs and get snacks because Karen had her shoulder repair done and she's not here. Fill your life with work, and that still leaves you empty. What other things do you guys fill your life up with? I know somebody who fills their life with this. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, Edward, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Brock. Pew, pew. Video games. We all have something, or maybe a lot of things, that we try to make ourselves feel satisfied with. And just like that shower water, there is no material thing, including grandkids or spouses or boyfriends or girlfriends, that can satisfy every single part of us. We're going to go back into that hot shower. If we go into that shower and we're thirsty and we take a drink, what happens? Yeah, doesn't feel too good, doesn't taste too good, doesn't look too good. Evan, I need you to come on up here. And Kennedy, could you change the slide? The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, so I will not get thirsty, and I have to keep coming here to draw water." He told her, "Go and call your husband and come back." Now here's the part of the story where it gets tricky, because as humans they have never met before. But Jesus points out the thing to her that she's been trying to fill her life with. In the next paragraph, she says, I do not have a husband. And then Jesus responds to her, oh, you had many. And he takes it to a personal place, not to embarrass her, but to let her know that I am offering you this gift. Even though you feel ashamed and you are here at the noon hour, I'm going to give you the same gift that I give everyone else. And she admits to him that I feel empty and I have a need. I want you to give me that living water so I won't ever have to come back to this well again and get water at the noon hour. So, Evan, this water right here, I want you to hold it up. Nice, refreshing looking water. While I was doing this, it made me really thirsty, so I drank some more water. Jesus uses the analogy of living water. And we see the well sitting there in the middle of the desert offering life to a place that has no life. But there's something about living water. There's something about water that quenches thirst. Evan, I want you to slowly start pouring water into the vessel. Nope. And I want you to see that all of those spaces starting at the bottom, when you fill yourself up with living water, it starts filling in every little space. No matter where a void is at in your life, it can be filled. And I think this is one of the reasons that Jesus uses this analogy of water, because we have spaces in our life that we can't fill the void with things. And he wants to flow in every part of your life, in your work, in your relationships, in your response with people, in the way you handle your money. How's that going, Evan? Oh, I hope we don't run out of living water. Oh, some of those things have to come out of your life in order for Jesus to fit in there, right? Okay, can you give me a little bit more? You can go ahead and drown Barbie. It's okay. I'm just glad we have all this junk in our house. Keep going. You could put the ice in there too. Oh, we are not going to quite make it. You want to put the rest of the ice in? We are not going to quite make it. Here's the other thing that it represents. When you become so full with Jesus, you overflow. You become a vessel that is not cracked and broken and everything seeps out, but you overflow into other people's life and you can spread Jesus around. And I think this example of living water represents, so he uses so many examples for us. He uses the vine dresser, he uses the shepherd, and it's all something that we can relate to. And the water is to represent fullness in our life and satisfaction in everything that we do. Kennedy King, can you switch the slides? If any man thirsts, let him come unto me and drink. What is your desire right now in your life? Do you have people around you who are struggling in this world? Are they struggling with the things of this world, with the economy, with their job, with their identity, with friendships? Maybe it's even a struggle with food. Maybe it's a struggle with an addiction. Jesus says, if you are thirsty, come to me, and I will fill you up, and I will satisfy you. Today's message is short and brief, and meant to hold the attentions of children, so I hope all the children in the room had their attention held. I would like a few of the elders to step forward, and if there's something that someone wants to pray about as we go into the closing song, I'd like you to step forward with the elders and pray with them. And we can have the worship team come up and do their closing song.